Tidal, Sanibel, and Century are three pretty common and popular brands of wrist wraps. Now, I have used all three pretty extensively, and I think there's some pros and cons. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the things I like, some of the things I don't like, and which one of these three I think is the best set of hand wraps. Now, before I go into any of it, the first things first, you should always be wrapping your hands whenever you're hitting a bag or doing any sort of mitt work. You don't want to twist your wrists or jam your wrists in any way, and this really helps protect your knuckles, your hands, and your wrists. So it is important that you have these. The second thing is they all do what they're supposed to do, which is cover, protect your knuckles, and support your wrist. However, there are some key differences. We'll start with the Century. The Century ones are pretty lightweight. These ones feel like they're almost exclusively cotton. There's not a lot of elasticity in these, so if you're looking for that sort of reflexive, tight feel when you wrap your wrist, you're probably not going to get it as much from the Century. Now, I think these are kind of more entry-level wrist wraps. They're fine. They'll do perfectly fine, especially if you're new or you just want something to throw on there so that'll take care of it. Or maybe you have issues with the elastic or something that's in some of these other more synthetic types of ones, and you just want something that feels a little bit more natural. These will do just fine. Again, like I said, these are pretty entry level, and personally for me, these are my least favorite of the three, but they'll do okay. The next ones are the Sanibel. Now these are the 180 inch. I like 180 inch if you're new to getting hand wraps. Depending on the size of your hands and what you're trying to do. Some people like shorter ones, 108 inch. Some people like 120 inch. Some people like 180 inch. Me personally, I like longer hand wraps. I think you can protect your knuckles and your wrists a little bit better, give them a little bit more support. The important thing about the Sanibel is this has some sort of, and I'm sure you can find it in the description somewhere, some sort of elastic material in it. It does have a little bit of a stretch, certainly more than the Century and even more than the Tidal. The Tidal has a little bit of it too. And the other thing that I really like about these Sanibels is that they're very thin. Obviously, they're all thin because they're getting wrapped, but these are pretty smooth, kind of a finer feel. You could tell it's more than just cotton or something like that, whereas the Tidals are a little bit more rough. It's a little bit smooth and it's a little bit thinner. Personally, I like thinner wraps. I feel like you can get a little bit more support. You can get them a little bit tighter. And the fact that these have some elasticity to it, a little bit more give to it, make these the ones that are my preferred go-to when I'm wrapping my wrist. Now the Tidal ones are great too. Same thing, these are 180 inch ones, Velcro closure. But again, these have a little bit of stretch, more so than the Century, but not as much as the Sanibel. And they are a little bit thicker. They're a little bit more coarse of a material. It's not really uncomfortable by any means, but if you are someone that is concerned about having a bunch of material, depending on how you wrap your hands, how much material goes across here, you know, just you don't want a whole bunch in your hands. You want to be able to make a tight fist. So if this is why I like the thinner Sanibel ones more than the thicker Tidal ones. One other thing that is pretty good about these Tidal ones is they make it very clear, if I can find it. Oh, nope, it's at the other end. Here, let me unwrap this real quick. They make it very, very clear which side goes down. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you've never wrapped your wrists before or you're brand new to wrapping your wrists, this is the side that stays down, and that's important. It's very clear. This does not come off. These wraps have been washed 100 times at least, and it stays on there. Whereas something like on the Century, where it tells you which side goes down, let me undo these here. All you have on this is just this little tag. These have only been washed a few times. If this tag gets torn off, it's just kind of a pain. It's just kind of easy. This one says this side down, so the tag side will go down. What that means, if you've never wrapped your wrist before, is when you put these on, that side of the wrap stays down as opposed to going up like that. The Sanibel also is pretty good, better than the Century. The Century has the worst, in my opinion. The Sanibel also has a good marker for what is up and what is down. You'll see right here, they have this little tag sewn into it. So you know that when you wrap your wrists, this side is supposed to stay up as you're wrapping. All in all, between the three, you're not really going to go wrong. Like I said at the beginning of this video, it doesn't really matter. But my choice for the three is the Sanibel, just because it's a little bit thinner and it has a little more elasticity.